Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. What a morning. What a morning.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh.
We're having technical challenges this morning, and Sharon is saying she can't hear us. So I will produce a dialogue till she gets it on her side, and she can
hear you.
Oh no! You'll have to check the settings.
Let me plug in earphones. Okay.
As with most technology, it's just like you got to go with the flow. You can't get upset over it. Sometimes it's all ones and zeros, really. When you're looking at computer software, everything like that. Can you hear me? We had a challenging time getting in, and so I'm not sure what
to do. Let's see.
I'm not sure what he's able to do, but I've known Sharon for a number of years, and we wanted to get on and talk about some of the things that she has going on in her community and in her life, and fascinating. And also, let's find out what you got going on in your life. So if you're in the room and you're talking in your comments, let me see if the comments are here. Kathy Spooner. So good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I love that you join us on the Pirate Broadcast, and the Pirate Broadcast is interesting people doing interesting things. So there's quite a few people that qualify for that.
Okay.
There's a lot of people.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just saw it. Where did it go?
She just saw it. Suspense is building. The suspense is building. So it's one of those things. And I do these just off the cuff. I mean, there's no dress rehearsal for these.
I know you can hear me because I see the mic working, but
I can hear you.
Can't hear you. Okay.
So let me make sure that it's not me that is causing the problem.
I still can't hear you.
Yeah. I'm here. You can hear me. Kathy, you can hear me, correct? Hey, Howard. Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, I'm going to go grab my husband since this is his computer, and we'll try that. I'm so sorry, but I'll be right back.
All right.
Harry?
So we're working through technical challenges. Sharon's working through technical challenges. I'm here. We can actually join in. If you have any questions, hey, Gabriel.
Now you're live on here, just so you know.
We'll love this because you know how technical challenges can kind of challenge us.
No,
right?
That's where you mute.
And then device is not connected now. Okay, so Sharon went away. It's funny because this happens on occasion. And with live streaming, you never know what's going to take place because it's just the nature of what's taking place in live. This is life. This is what life is all about. So it's one of those things that you, hey, Byron's in the room. Hey, I just want to find out what are you guys really interested in learning more about? Is there a subject, whether it be marketing, media, content creation, live streaming? Is it going to be about health and fitness?
Yeah.
Is it going to be about? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. What was the challenge?
I don't know. Harry had to come set it. I had to go get Harry's computer, and he knew where to set that. He had the volume down. I don't know. Anyway, all's well that ends well, right?
Exactly. Well, Sharon, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I began with some technical issues, but hey, It is
Well,
what
you know,
it is.
that's okay. You're pretty savvy on the technology side, so it's you know, it's unusual to have a challenge like this because StreamYard is very simple.
It is.
Only there are a lot of nuances that we just have to work around, and I appreciate the fact that you didn't give up and you didn't leave and you're all frustrated and everything. And
I tried every device I had. So, and then I gave up my grandmother's computer. He's reading the newspaper, and I'm like, "Give me your computer."
It's like Sharon had her computer, and for some reason it wouldn't let her in. So we may have to troubleshoot that later on, Sharon, and see what's going on with that.
You know, I'm always game to help. So.
And then she tried her iPad, and she couldn't get that quite working. So she grabbed Harry's computer, her husband, and tenacity. I say, that's what I say. So, you know, it's funny, Sharon, because it's a kind of a reflection of life. You know, we get beat down, or something happens, or something disrupts our schedule, or, you know, and I was thinking about this yesterday, and I want to kind of get your take on it, because have you ever had an opportunity where, you know, you're trying to get one thing completed, you're almost completed, and then something happens in either with a computer or with, you know, something goes out, or a light goes out, or, you know, you lose power, or something interrupts it. So the last 5% of your project it takes you, seems like forever to get it done. And you just have to work your way around it. That's kind of how entrepreneurs work. You know, you got to just figure out your way around it, right?
Well, you have to be a ninja.
Yeah, ninja. Yeah. A technology ninja. Like,
you know, when I was younger, and things like that would have upset me, and I would have been just devastated. And, you know, but it's like, it's not what happens, it's how you respond to it. Right.
Yeah.
And then I also know that sometimes there's resistance behind what we're doing. And so we're resisting, right? But stepping up or stepping into something. However, sometimes it's just, you know, like, what is it, Freud that said sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. So, yeah. So it's you know, it's like, I try not to let things ruffle my feathers. And the interesting thing is, though, if something does ruffle my feathers, then I know it's something that I need to pay attention to. In other words, that means for me that it's something that I'm
something in us that is bothered.
Yeah, exactly.
And says, jiggle the handle. He goes, oops, that only works in plumbing.
Well, you know, sometimes, you know, it's interesting you said that, though, because, you know, my way of fixing things a lot of times is turn it off and turn it back on. However, with the computer, I have so much stuff on my computer right now. If I was to reboot it, it would take like 15 minutes.
Oh,
so I didn't want to waste all that time.
And Gabriel says, hopefully I won't have that problem tomorrow, because Gabriel is going to be on the show tomorrow, and that'll be a great show. That'll be a great episode, because Gabriel does the same thing, Sharon, at night. A lot of times he's done over 100 episodes 5 days a week at night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's another one.
He's not going to have me as a guest, because I think she'll never get on.
Islam said, good evening from Egypt. You know, the pirate community is global, and I just think it's amazing. So, an Arcot from India, namaste, hi pirates, hey Russ, and hey Sharon. Thank you so much. I love the top hat there, Arcot. I love it. So, I like Ninja. Yeah, Islam says I like the Ninja. And Wendy says, good morning, pirates. Andrew, jiggling the handle is my only tech skill.
Yeah, but mine is turn it off and turn it back on, you know. Years ago, I remember I worked in an office, and they had a really elaborate copy machine. And so whenever something happened to it that I couldn't figure it out, I just turned it off and turned it back on, and hey, it worked. So,
it works. So
tell us. Hard.
So Sharon, you and I have known each other for a while, and you know, we've gone through our journey, and you've launched a couple of projects, and we've had a lot of fun together. And it's one of these things that is just kind of evolved, and it's like, even if we're not doing anything, we're still, I love the fact that you reach out and you say, hey, checking in once in a while. And it's all about relationships. And you're such a relationship person that I kind of wanted to touch base on that and just.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because with the pandemic, it's been interesting because I'm such an extrovert and I love being around people and I love being with people. And of course, I can't do that right now. And so it has been, so, I've used Zoom for a couple of years, because when I did soul story readings, I would record them on Zoom, because then that way people had them, to go back and listen to. Right. So I've used it for a couple of years, but right now it's so important for us to have this kind of connection, right? Because you can't have the physical, which is best, because there's more energy involved when you're, physically, together. Yeah. But this is better than nothing, in a sense that don't be an island and don't just feel like you have no one or nothing to support you and to help you. Reach out. I've had people do Zoom calls with me who'd never used Zoom before and just thought it was this big mystery. It's not, right?
You think about the audience, though, and there's a lot of people. We live in a digital world for the most part. So if you're not familiar with it and you've never used it, it is a big mystery at times.
Right. Right. Yeah. It seems like something, really bizarre, but it's so, but I think the first one I ever used, the first one to come out was GoToMeeting. Mm-hmm. Does that sound about right? Because that was many years ago. That was back in, like the early, like I'm thinking 2005. That GoToMeeting was the only, I think maybe the only game in town. There's so many now that you can choose from. So relationships. It's interesting you said that. I've been paying attention lately to social media, and it surprises me. Like on LinkedIn, I don't just accept everybody without going and looking at their profile. And then if I feel like there's something that connects the two of us, I will send an email and, comment on it, mention, hey, would you like a phone call, that kind of thing. And I would say maybe 20% of the people respond. It just amazes me. And I think it's because of that. I'm going to go back to I used to be a sales manager, right? And it was the old, well, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Well, it's not a numbers game, because the quality of your contacts is way more important than the number. Way more important. Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to develop a community.
Right.
Because if you have, Kevin Kelly has, he wrote this article years ago, and it's 1,000 True Fans. And he was basically hypothesizing the fact that if you have 1,000 true fans that want your product every time you put something out and enjoys and appreciates what you do, then you have an opportunity to actually cultivate and nurture that 1,000 true fans into a very reasonable, accommodating business. And that's, I think, the case with anybody, because, you have a deep relationship with a lot of people. However, it's impossible to have a deep relationship with 100,000 people, right?
Right.
It changes the dynamic of what you can actually have conversations around. And they say you can only
a difference. That's a good point, because a lot of times people, what I see with clients, a lot of times they'll back away from stepping up and stepping out because they fear losing that. Right. I just saw the comment.
Russ's laugh makes me smile every time. I like that.
What's not to love about Russ's laugh, right? But so there is that fear that you'll become so big so out of touch with the people you're actually trying to serve. Most people that I work with have some kind of spiritual practice, and they're really all about, being of service. So they fear losing that contact. However, there are ways that you can work around that. And you should never hold yourself back from giving to many, if that's what your part in the equation is.
Sure.
Thinking that you'll lose that connectivity, because there's always ways that you can maintain the connectivity on the level that you want to.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, because even though, we've broadcast over 200 shows with the Pirate Broadcast, so that's at least a few guests, right? And some guests I'm very connected with. I'm on a regular basis. I'm reaching out to them. We're having conversations online. And then other guests, they come and go, and I never hear from them again. And I'll reach out and I'll send them an email, and sometimes it doesn't get opened. And it's, and it's just like, okay, well, I don't know if I haven't, if maybe it's not meant to be, or maybe I haven't made an effort, or, some reason you just don't connect with some people.
Well, that's not necessarily on your end, though, because a lot of times we beat ourselves up. It's funny you said, I just thought about something, and it's actually a family member that I have, and we've never had a close relationship, and I've tried and tried and tried. And for the longest time, I thought, what the hell's wrong? What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I realized it has nothing to do with me.
It's nothing to do
with
with
like me. How you react to another person says everything about you and nothing about them, and how somebody reacts to you says everything about them and nothing about you. But we get so focused on this, wanting to be loved and liked, and we want people to like us, and so we kind of wrap our own self-worth into other people's opinions of us.
Yeah, and, I think that's a dangerous path to take, especially.
It is. But it's it's human nature. It really is human nature.
It's a default. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be needed. Everybody wants to be appreciated. I mean, it goes without saying that at some point in time we want to be needed, right? It's
exactly. Nice. Exactly. But I think the world teaches us that.
Absolutely.
It just came into my mind when you were saying that was, in school, we're taught to compete. And that in order to get the attention, you have to be the best, right? So the world teaches us to compete with one another. And early on, when I first started doing my own business, I heard this saying about, you're not in competition with anyone but yourself. Yeah. But it's really hard in business to maintain that mindset, because in business we do compare ourselves to other people. It's like, well, they're doing this and they're being successful. However, you don't really know if they're being successful or not. The first thing I did in business was, when I did my own business, I called myself intuitive money healer. And that's I use my intuition to really help people with their money issues. And so I really dug in a lot to money mindset, right? And I discovered there were people who look like they are so successful. And it's like, oh my God, I want to be like them, and I want to do a business like them, that could not even afford to do a one-off session with me.
Yeah.
So it's an illusion, and there's specialty illusion. Social media has its own specialty illusions, right?
Yeah. It's like we only want the best parts of us to be seen. And
there's nothing wrong with that, because if it makes you feel good about yourself and, it lifts you up, then fine, so be it. But never, I guess what I would say here, don't try and fool yourself.
Yeah. Well, You're the only person you can't lie to, right?
Well, you can.
You can.
But it won't last for long, because it'll come out and bite you in the butt, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, talking about illusions and everything, it's like, I was talking to Wendy earlier in the room, Wendy, Weiner, Runge, and we were talking about the process of making a movie. And once you've gone through the process of making a movie and shooting a movie and all of the start to finish, and you know how the sausage is made, it kind of loses its illusion. You know, it's like, okay, it's like it's not exactly what I had imagined, you know? And so life is kind of that way, because we have this idea of how it should be and how it could be and how we feel we fit into the equation. And it's not always the way. Sometimes we have to venture out and break out of our own mindset to reach our own goals and expand our ideas in what thinking big actually means and what our own limitations are.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning, I was thinking about when I was talking with you, one of the points that I wanted to make. And one of the points that I want to make is that, so I've done different things in my business, and only because as you expand and grow, the way you do things should expand and grow. Now, what that means is that if you believe, you know, it doesn't matter if you do or not, but that we come in with a purpose and there's something that's everybody pretty much believes they have some sort of genius, right? That we all have something that we're really good at and that we really enjoy and that we really can bring to this world, right? That never changes. However, the way that you express it has to exchange, right? I mean, change, not exchange, has to change, because as you expand and grow, my mind was already on expand, but if it doesn't change, then you're not expanding and growing.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you and I are in the same age range. So we've been around the block,
right? Yeah.
And we've always it's the underlying, your foundation doesn't change.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I live in an older house and I'm constantly changing and rearranging and redoing things, you know, you've got to keep it fresh.
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes with education as well. You know, learn a new skill, learn a new craft, even if it serves no purpose except to bring you joy.
Exactly. You know, honey, I always say the day I don't learn something is the day I don't wake up.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, and right now,
I wanted to give a shout out a friend of yours and mine, Kenyatta Turner. So yeah, Sharon Hess. Michelle's in from Colorado. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being here. She's a firecracker. She's awesome. And Arcot has been fixing up computers from the days we had black screen. And if anyone needs anything like a normal tip, or just ping me, I'm happy to resolve it for you. Senior Tech for Ages, now happy to help with pirates. Call it Srothology. That's awesome. That is awesome. I want to also, Gabriel here saying hi to the, you know, that's the beauty of the Pirate Syndicate and the Pirate Broadcast in the community, is that we have all of these people that are connected with each other. Wendy says we might wonder how other people make their sausage. Curiosity empowers growth, right, Amy? Yes, yes. So, and then Kathy says, so true about mindset and business. Owned a small business for 14 years, made lots of business mistakes and good business model. So much in the small business world changed during that time. I've learned a lot that will now help me in my next business adventure. Lots of great info on your show. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. And it's people like yourself, people like everybody in the community, Sharon here. You know, we love the fact that we can bring interesting perspectives to the table. So,
right. And then I want to address one. Can I address one thing that Kathy said? I think it was Kathy, right? The last name.
Absolutely.
There really are no mistakes, right? A mistake is just a matter of perception, because you know, I teach there's a gift in everything. And you know, I've done a ton of things that don't work or didn't work, or, you know, whatever. And I used to really beat up on myself and judge myself for it. But I learned that there's a gift within every single thing, right? Everything is always, excuse me, working towards our growth.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. right? I mean,
Well, it's like, what did I learn from this lesson? Because a lesson is a lesson, right? Good
right.
or bad.
Right.
It's an education.
Exactly. I love Abraham Hicks says it's all about, it might be for contrast. You know, like you might experience something to go, I don't want that. I don't want that in my experience. Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think
what the hell was I thinking thing? I drew that to myself.
I think like you said, right? I think like you said, Sharon, too, and I want you to speak on this a little bit because, you know, after a few years of life, you get to the point where if it's not a hell yes, it's like it's a hell no. It's like I don't necessarily, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. You know, it's like there's certain things in my life I've had an experience and it's like, yeah, I tried that. Not what I want to do.
I say, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, burn the sucker.
Yeah. That's long since gone.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it might show up in a different package. That's another thing I've discovered. You know, it's like you might think that you experience something you don't want, and then it shows up in a different package. And it's just, you know, it's truly, truly, truly a matter of knowing yourself and understanding yourself, because we all have this individuality. We all have skills. We all have likes. We all have dislikes. We don't all want the same things. We don't all like the same things. And, you know, that's perfectly fine. That's what I always say. Two people can have opposing opinions and both be right, because it's what's right for you. The way I explain that is I have a friend. She loves, loves, loves to weed her garden. Going out and pulling those weeds is like, it's like meditation for her. And she feels like, you know, like she's really accomplished something. Give me a root canal before you make me go outside and weed. You know, but then there's things that I love and enjoy doing that she doesn't. Yeah. Neither of us are right and neither of us are wrong. It's just what is right for us. Yeah. And when we start looking at ourselves and learning about ourselves and honoring ourselves and who we are, you know, that's when it feels okay. That's another thing. And Russ, I know you're really good at this, is you know yourself. You understand yourself. You get who Russ is. Yeah.
Russ still gets me in trouble now and then.
Well, of course.
It's usually around getting well, I usually get excited about different things. You know, I was talking to Kenyatta on a call the other day, and we were talking about a book called Big Magic. And the concept of big magic is that ideas are out there. Inspiration is out there, and everything comes and goes. And it almost, if it lands on you and you don't take action, somebody else will. It will go someplace else.
Yeah, you know, when I read that book and I read that part in the book, it made me think about Joe Vitale. I saw one time he was talking. He actually said, when an idea comes to you, that means it's in the universe. And if you're not, the one who makes money on it is the one who takes action on it. Yeah. You know, there's so many things that, this is a great little teaching moment I can use about thought and action. So there's particularly for entrepreneurs, it's like we have all these great ideas and, this would be really cool. And that would be really cool. And let's do this. So if you think about it, we're going to talk about energy for a minute and the law of attraction. So if you have a thought, that would be really cool. That's something we should do. And let's just say this is a ball. And then you should go over here to the action part and you take action on it. You keep your thoughts and your action in the same level of energy, right? But if you have the thought and you don't take action on it, then that gets bigger. And then you have another thought and you don't take action. You're just going to draw more thought to yourself. And then you don't take action and then you draw more thought. And before you know it, that's all you're doing is thinking up fun things that you could possibly do that you never do anything with. So it's important that we keep our thoughts and our action aligned.
That's what I call the couch entrepreneur.
The what?
The couch entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They think about it from the couch.
But I'll never forget, I had a guy who worked for me. I ran a print and mail business, and he came in there one time and he was sitting and we were talking about something. So what is it you really want to do? He goes, I just want somebody to pay me to sit and think. And I'm like, okay, great. That's, you find out, you let me know.
Yeah, let me know about that. That's a great.
You and a gazillion other people, right?
Yeah. I just want to think about stuff. I don't
I
want
just
to.
want to sit and somebody pay me to sit and think about stuff, you know.
This is fantastic. So, what projects are you focused? What are you thinking about right now? What are you thinking? What are you thinking of doing?
Founded Miracle Mind Mastery, and what that is so in everything in my hands and my astrology and my any of the land of woo stuff. I'm always told I'm a spiritual teacher, right? And I've studied and taught a course in miracles since 1991. And so I always had that's my foundation, my spiritual foundation. But I always kept thinking, well, I'm not just a spiritual teacher, right? Because I've also created $1 million businesses, right? So I always had this, and you know this because you know me. I've always had this. So am I a spiritual teacher or am I a business coach? Am I spiritual? What do I teach, spiritual stuff, or do I teach business stuff, right? And so I always had this struggle between, I knew the two were connected, and I kind of sort of had an idea about it. But recently I had this amazing realization that, okay, so your miracle mind is actually when you know that space in the middle where you bring both of you on board, your spiritual self, your universal mind, and your individual mind, which is who you are. And they meet in the middle in that beautiful, perfect space where all of you is on board.
Yeah.
So that was my huge aha. And it was just so amazing to me to finally have that firm understanding of what it is and how you create what you want in this world.
Well, I think it's important more now than any other time. And I think there's a lot of people that are looking and searching for meaning and understanding and how their energy is being used, where they're placing their energy, and where they're placing, what am I interested in doing? It's like I'm a remote worker now, where I used to have to go to the office. And now you have to kind of shift your thinking and your understanding about what it means to be an employee in a different arena, so to speak.
Right.
So
I think it redefined our what matters.
Yeah.
We had to all really sit back and look at, for me, it was easy because I've worked I had my home office and I've worked in it for, since 2008. So, so it wasn't that hard for me to adjust to working from home. So I had to stop and think. So when I first started working from home, what did I have to do? Well, I had to define my space. In other words, so that I knew how to cut it off, bring it back, that kind of thing. And that's the first thing you have to do is figure out exactly how you cannot be totally in your office and doing your work 24/7, because that's not good for you. But then also to where you're not distracted when you need to be focused on the work that is at hand.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest challenge I would think people have had that weren't used to working at home. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I don't disagree or agree. Either way, the thing that comes to mind though is parents that have
kids
to run their family and kids and everything else at the same time, because multitasking and task shifting drains your energy already. So it's one of those things that, and we're going through a lot. So I just encourage everybody to go out, find an outlet that you can, kind of burn some steam off, so to speak, and get settled, get centered in what you're doing, and whether it's meditation, exercise, or, going for a walk or shifting, getting away from the
in Arizona, when it's 116, you can't go for a walk. But I thank God every day for my pool, because I can go.
Yeah, no kidding. I want to give a shout out to some of these some of the people that have joined the room. This video. Olivia is here. A mistake is a matter of perception, and there's a gift in everything.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love that, Olivia.
I teach it, I live it.
Yeah, FAIL is an acronym for first or 500th attempt in learning. Yes, absolutely. So Kenyatta, Big Magic, she says, I love the land of woo. Angie says, A Course in Miracles, question mark, Olivia. I'm interested in A Course of Miracles. You probably have something right there, don't you, Sharon?
Yeah, I just got to grab it.
Olivia, The Sound of Music, Miracles. Do you remember that song? Yes, leaving the space where you work is so important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A Course in Miracles. Yeah. So it's an actual.
If you're interested in me explaining what it is, because it's actually a metaphysical, spiritual psychotherapy, and but just PM me, and I'll be happy to just have a quick phone call and explain to you what it is.
So that brings up another item, Sharon. How do people get a hold of you? So now, if you're not connected to Sharon, she doesn't connect with everyone. So if you tell her, if you write her a message and say,
your profile.
yeah, if you write her a message and say, I'm a pirate, I would love to connect. I saw you on the Pirate Broadcast or something along those lines. I'm sure that she would like to investigate you further. So
exactly. And you can also, if you want to, if you're interested in chatting with me, just shoot me an email at let's say support@miraclemindmastery.com.
Yeah.
Or, if this is wherever you're seeing this, I have a present. So yeah.
Well, I know we have busy days and everything's going on, and I just wanted to thank you for being on the show, Sharon, and thank you for everyone in the audience. I have all the appreciation in the world for you and what you do, and thank you so much. And Sharon, I'm sure we'll see each other again at some point in time when things change and shift, and the world goes around and things happen.
Until then, I said we should do jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
We'll hug.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I love the pirate community. I love the interaction. I love the connection and the communication in the chats and the windows. If you're not connected to each other, continue to connect with each other. Start the conversation. Don't isolate. Don't stay at home. And know that you have an opportunity to do bigger, better, more amazing things in your life than you ever imagined. So don't be afraid of trying a few new things and going out there and chasing some dreams. Right. Yeah. And as always, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it. Love you. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.